straight from the horse's mouth. Dare to go Dutch. You know what they say, once you go Dutch, you never go, well, something like that. You never go back. I don't know. I'm just messing with you. That's the home page of Pennsylvania Dutch Birch Beer. Today's choice, that's our selection for the soda review of the day that we're going to go over right now. And it's fairly chilled, but yet it hasn't been in the fridge. I found another way to keep it chilled below room temperature. You kick the air conditioning down to 69 in the apartment, and then you set these out on the counter, and it's ready. It should be, at least. Birch beer made from an old Pennsylvania Dutch recipe. And these guys have obviously been around for a long time. Hello everybody, I'm Mark McLean and I'm glad you're here. We began recently doing old-fashioned vintage style sodas. Yeah, doing some reviews on those, and it's something different. If you like what I'm doing, then let me know, please. I was reading this, I thought it was sort of interesting. It says, dare to go Dutch. For those seeking something different and unique, Pennsylvania Dutch Birch Beer is one of the oldest soft drinks in the country. And that I didn't know. Since 1936, we have only used the highest quality ingredients in making our premium line of sodas. One of the ingredients in this I'll tell you about in just a second. Sort of threw me off guard when I first read about it, so I'm a little iffy on that right now. Anyway, it says that their birch beer is uniquely different for its rich, distinctive flavor, is based on a century-old Pennsylvania Dutch recipe. That's unique. Our classic sodas have been enjoyed for generations and are available in both regular birch beer and sugar-free diet varieties. And it goes on to say that Pennsylvania Dutch Birch Beer is in a class by itself, rich in taste, rich in history, and the best of all, it's caffeine-free. And I think that's debatable upon whether or not that makes it best or not. But this is something that I was reading here, and I want to read this to you guys. It says, it's a timeless classic of our Pennsylvania Dutch Birch Beer, and it has a rich and creamy taste. Here's that little ingredient I mentioned earlier, with a hint of wintergreen. Oh, I threw the brakes on that. Honestly, folks, I do not like wintergreen. I have seen people who walk around with a dip in their mouth. I got me some wintergreen Skull. You know what I'm saying? And that wintergreen sort of reminds me of that scent. You know, I've been around people like that in a mixed crowd, and you think, oh my goodness, how can you put that crap in your mouth, you know? And I'm just hoping that it doesn't have that wintergreen same type flavor or scent. But it does say it's a rich and creamy taste with a hint of wintergreen that our customers have enjoyed for over 70 years. And best of all, it's caffeine-free. They're really up on that caffeine-free thing, aren't they? Okay, drink some milk. It's caffeine-free. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to check it out on Wikipedia and see what they say about it. It says Pennsylvania Dutch Birch Beer is a brand of soft drink of the birch beer type, whose trademark is owned by USA Beverages, Inc., or USA Beverages Incorporated, a beverage bottler operating primarily in the United States. It's available in regular and diet, sold in 12-ounce cans, 20-ounce plastic bottles, and 2-liter bottles as well. Pennsylvania Dutch Birch Beer's regular variety is sweetened with sugar and or high fructose corn syrup. The diet variety has been sweetened with saccharin or aspartame, and and has these have gained preferability, and some people have proposed using sucralose for the same purpose. Some other bottlers have offer their own versions of Birch Beer. In the earlier 1990s, Pennsylvania Dutch Birch Beer brand was bottled under authority of the PDBB Company by A Treat Beverages, Inc. of Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company. I had no idea. And they were that was distributed by D&M Management Incorporated out of Davidsville, Pennsylvania, an independent beverage distribution center there. So a little bit more of the information that I'd like to share with you there. I thought it was sort of interesting about Pennsylvania Dutch Birch Beer. And the label surely looks the part with the old, I guess, Amish wagon or the Dutch. That's pretty cool. Made from an old Pennsylvania Dutch recipe. 170 calories total. And I'm ready to try this baby out. I'm just hoping that it doesn't taste or smell anything like wintergreen like it said. Because if so, that will ruin it for me. I loathe spearmint. I mean, I like peppermint. There's a difference. The spearmint in the green little, like if you find toothpaste, if it's in the blue, that's usually peppermint. I can take that. But if the toothpaste is in the green, usually that's wintergreen, and I don't like it. I'm honest. Huh. Well, it smells okay. I do detect a little bit of that wintergreen, but it smells like a strong root beer, basically. It just really does. It smells like a strong root beer. They just called it Birch Beer, not Birch Root Beer. Birch Beer. Tastes like a good root beer. I wonder what that's like put in a glass and allowed to breathe a little bit, to allow some of the effervescence to evaporate. Tell you what we'll do, we'll find out. I'll go grab a glass and then be right back. Okay. Wow, that was magic, wasn't it? We don't have any beer mugs. We recently moved into an apartment, so everything was like, we didn't have anything. We started from scratch because we had moved in with our daughter, and everything that we had, we originally had in storage, but we ended up selling that stuff. So it's got a nice reddish, rich color to it. Almost resembles that cherry soda that I had yesterday. But you can see some of the, I think you can at least, yeah. Now you can see some of the, the carbonation has splattered all around the glass. Some of the fizzy is going swizzy down to the bottom, I think. Or at least that's what I'm hoping. The scent is really good. I mean, it doesn't smell that much like the wintergreen now that I've tasted it. But it does smell like an old-fashioned root beer. So with that, we're going to see if it allows it to breathe and to hopefully allow some of the effervescence, as I said, to permeate the air. Okay. Definitely more enjoyable out of the glass. It should be enjoyed in a mug. I don't have a mug, but this will work. A wine glass. I'm not really a big wine drinker. I don't drink a lot of wine, but our daughter, she bought us some beautiful wine glasses, and that's the ones right there. So thought I'd use that. You know, what is that scent or that flavor I can't think of the ingredient that root beer is famous for. I can't think. Excuse me just a second. I'm going to have to type it in here. I'm going to do a search and find out ingredients of root beer. Because my memory has escaped me again. Imagine that. I think it's one of the haphazards of getting older, right? I can't think of the ingredient it's on the tip of my tongue. My grandmom used to brew teas with this root that grew in the side banks of creeks. Maybe I can find it here. I was thinking of what it was, but I can't seem to remember it. Okay, finest ingredients, root beer ingredients. Here we go. Yeah, it's definitely improved. The flavor has improved. I think because I can, after some of the carbonation has fizzled out, like I've told you before, you get to enjoy the taste or the flavor a lot more than just the burning sensation. But it tastes good. I can't seem to find the ingredient of what I'm looking for. It's a root that grows in the side of banks, in creeks, and in the forest. And my granny used to make some of that sassafras, I believe. I think that might be one of the ingredients. Sassafras tea is what she made. Okay, let's find out here. Flavors and ingredients of root beer. Oh, it's definitely getting better. Can't seem to find it. The ingredient list. Tell you what I'll do. I'll pause for a research update. Well, after doing a little research, I found out some of the ingredients, of course, in root beer, and we'll go down the complete list here in a minute. But have you ever wondered what makes it taste so good with vanilla ice cream? I'm serious. Licorice, that's one of the main ingredients. Anise, some people call it anise. It's anise, A-N-I-S-E. Anyway, it says, this popular soft drink pairs well with vanilla ice cream, resulting in root beer floats that are very common across North America at birthday parties. Okay, the common version that we know today isn't an alcoholic beverage, but a sweet soda. All right, the answer lies in the history of root beer. For most food historians, all right, listen very carefully. The first versions of root beer started out as small beer. That's right, a beverage brewed from herbs and bark and berries. Small beer was popular in medieval Europe, where rampant water pollution had a tendency to make people sick. So because of the water pollution, they started brewing their drinks, and drinks like tea and beer were considered the much healthier option. I'm certain, you'd rather have a beer than to drink some of the water and end up with Montezuma's Revenge on the toilet all day, right? And they didn't even have toilets back then. So think about that. I sat on that fork in that tree for half an hour and never could stop. Small beer was what they called the beginning of root beer, but it contained alcohol. Imagine that. It contained alcohol, usually between 2% and 12%. And the beverage was so commonplace it turns up in a variety of classical literature, including William Shakespeare's plays and Vanity Fair by William Thackeray. That's pretty interesting. So fast forward a few centuries later, pharmacies attempting to create a miracle drug or a cure-all for people's ailments in the late 19th century. Many of the popular carbonated beverages that we drink today, actually, have their roots in such an attempt as well, as if you think about it. But historians, they say, generally believe that root beer was created by accident by a pharmacist experimenting with a variety of roots and herbs and barks and things like that, as well as berries used in some of the small beer recipes in the past. So, in order to help make a brew to cure every sickness, they poured a big concoction in, and the next thing you know, they come out with the original root beer. And I think at first they sold it as a syrup, even though it is sort of syrupy, you know. This root beer is very, very nice. However, I can't honestly say that it's any better than any of the others that I've drank. One favorite root beer that I used to drink a lot of was made by Dad's. Remember the Dad's brand root beers? I used to drink a lot of those. A&W root beers. That was another one that I used to consume a lot of. So here we go. Common ingredients in root beer include vanilla, cherry tree bark, wintergreen molasses, anise, licorice root, cinnamon, and honey, among others. The primary ingredient is still sassafras. Can you believe that? The primary ingredient. And that was, I can't believe I got it. I mean, sort of wild to me to think that that's what my granny, you know, she used to tell me all about the benefits of and the good things that lie in sassafras tea. She would make me sassafras tea, and she would go and first dig up the roots out of the creek bank. And I remember today, just like it was yesterday, with her having to wash the dirt off these roots. I mean, she was almost like little Granny on the Beverly Hillbillies. I mean, seriously, we called her Little Granny. Anyway, the main ingredient, primary ingredient, is still sassafras flavor. I think that's fantastic. It reminds me of my granny. Granny McLean was really sweet. I wish you could have gotten to know her. So was my Granny Burnett, actually, on my mom's side, too. But you have your little bitty things that you think about like that, and life continues on. So here's to all the grannies out there in the world. Some people are root beer fans. Some people hate it. Just like anise. That's an ingredient used in some aftershaves and shave soaps. Some people can live with it. Some people hate it. It's one of those kind of things. It's a love-hate relationship. You either love it or hate it. And even though this is a very good quality, I can't honestly say that it is more distinctive of a flavor than any of the other root beers I've drank. Now, if I wanted to compare, I would get a couple or more different brands of root beer and just do a sip test. And then perhaps I could differentiate between which is the top or the best. But so far, it's just another root beer, to be honest. And I don't detect a hint of wintergreen, as they said. It's still a very good drink, and I would buy it, sure. But I would also go out and I would buy an A&W or Barks. Remember Barks? Yeah. Plenty of other brands out there, I'm sure. If you can think of any that I've forgotten, perhaps jot it down below, okay? Today's drink in our old-fashioned soda reviews, Pennsylvania Dutch Birch Beer. I thought maybe it was made with a birch tree or something. You never know. Tomorrow we will be drinking and featuring Triple X root beer. Triple X. That's the one with Ron Jeremy as the spokesperson. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. It's a wacky joke. I think tomorrow we will chill this one in the fridge, okay? We will have this one chilled. Just to see if it helps, I guess, arrest some of the bubble factor, okay? Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Have fun and get out there and enjoy some life, okay? Peace. With the shave of the day, okay? All right. Welcome in, guys, the shave of the day.